Good afternoon. We are Team 1 for Petty 4998. My name is David Gullett. My partners are Kyle Kattlecheck, Logan Roussel, and Easton Messina. We're basing our research today on the Algiers Field in Montreal County, North Dakota, and we're presenting our research on production optimization through recompletions. The Bakken has three different types of reservoirs: Type 1, Type 2, and Type 3. Petroleum engineers can take production data of each well and they can implement the data into computer software such as Harmony to calculate other parameters of the well. And with the software, we can find oil in place, production life of the well, economic limit of our well, and we can also see if it is economically feasible for us as engineers to recomplete this well. Furthermore, with the software such as Harmony, we can take the production analysis and we can see the efficiency of each fracture within the staging cluster from heel to toe of our horizontal. And we can basically see which fracs are not fully producing. We can see which stage is basically not up to its potential. And doing so, we can implement other strategies such as limited entry perforating, where we have fewer perforations at the heel of our string and we have more perforations towards the toe of our string due to the flow of the hydrocarbon favoring the easiest path.
Hey guys, my name is Logan Roussel, and today I'll be talking about the geography and lithology of the Bakken Formation, which is the formation that we're operating on currently for our senior project. So the Bakken Formation is located within the Williston Basin, of which it occupies roughly about 67% of the area of the Williston. It is located in North Dakota where we're operating, Montana as well, and it's also located in southern parts of Canada such as Saskatchewan and Manitoba provinces respectively. So the main thing to think about with the Bakken is that there's three main members: the upper, middle, and lower members. The upper and lower members are both comprised of a black shale-stone, very tight obviously. They both act as our trap rock, our seal rock, and our source rock as a matter of fact. While the middle member itself is a composition of silty dolostone to fine-grained sandstone mixture. It acts as our reservoir rock. In other words, our pay zone. And the way it's really important is that we have to drill from areas from the side and use horizontal drilling and hydraulic fracturing in order to produce from this formation. It should also be noted that the upper and lower shale members, as they are the source rock, comprise of continuous petroleum accumulations which arise from thermally mature rich shale members. So when those shale members heat up to a specific temperature, they form the hydrocarbons that we see in the middle member as they migrate to said middle member.
As you know, the Bakken Formation is a very tight formation that requires a lot of stimulation to maintain production levels. This is where fracturing comes in. There are two types of fracture orientations that we typically see when fracturing a well: longitudinal fracs and transverse fracs. Longitudinal fracs are ideal because they cover a very large portion of the reservoir. Transverse fracs, on the other hand, cover a much smaller portion of the reservoir and act as a choke point for reservoir fluids as they enter the wellbore. Transverse fracs are much more common and they require much more stimulation. This is why with new refracking designs, we typically see more clusters and stages closer together to allow for the fluids to have more of a pathway close to the wellbore.
The Bakken is split into three different levels. You have the middle, the upper, and the lower Bakken. With this lithology, the upper and the lower parts are shale, and the middle part of the Bakken, which is the targeted zone that companies try to aim for, is more of a sandstone dolomite mixture. And with the upper and lower being shale and the middle being a sandstone dolomite, you're going to have a low permeability shale that's going to help trap your hydrocarbons in the middle part of the Bakken. And so with the upper and lower, they do contribute to production, but it's just a fraction's worth compared to the middle part. And with today's technology in the industry and also with revolutionized completion designs, the upper and lower portions of the Bakken may actually be financially feasible to produce those in today's market.
Hi, my name is Easton Messina, and today I'm going to talk to you about EUR and net present value. Of course, when you want to refracture a well or you are considering refracturing a well, your end goal is to enhance the ultimate recovery of the well. When you enhance the ultimate recovery of the well, basically you're doing any type of stimulation that is going to allow you to produce more oil or gas than you are at the current time. The net present value piece of it is basically the way you look at it is you can estimate your returns that you're going to get in the future, and you can compare that to the net present value or find the net present value of it to see if your project or stimulation job is going to be economically feasible. Here we have some production data from 4 wells, and this production data shows in red the production before stimulation, and the production data in blue shows production after stimulation. The green line in between is of course the initial jump from during the stimulation. From this graph, you can see that refracturing is beneficial to wells, and it does in fact enhance ultimate recovery. You can see the gap in between. That's where you would find how much you increase the recovery of the well.
Project direction. As you have seen, refracturing is very beneficial for oil and gas companies in North Dakota. Refracturing gives companies the chance to increase production levels without having the expenses of drilling new wells in order to maintain or increase current production levels. As Team 1 moves forward with the project, we will be looking into wells in the Alger Field in North Dakota, trying to determine what wells would be a good candidate for recompletion. As of now, our idea is to pull monthly production data from the North Dakota Department of Natural Resources and input this data in Excel in order to forecast production levels, allowing us to better pick candidate wells for recompletion. Team 1 also intends to research recompletion designs that best optimize production.
Project management. So, with any project, there's moving pieces. And the best thing to do with all the moving pieces is to organize them in a way that makes them accessible to every member when they need to use them. Now, the thing that's very important for us is to have an organized way of doing things. In order to do that, we propose that we are going to use a Gantt chart for our project. Now, the Gantt chart is used to visually demonstrate how much time is needed to finish the project. This allows us an opportunity to figure out what time we need to prepare things and in what order. Now, we're using a Gantt chart to visually plan out each member's duty ahead of time as well. So not only can we plan what order we do things in and what tasks need to be accomplished to finish the whole project, but we can also relegate who does what and when. Now, for the specific example used in the PowerPoint, they need to plan a concert. How do they do so? They have to book musicians, they need to find a venue, they need to promote their concert, and then they need to sell tickets. Well, for example, they sell tickets through setting up Ticketmaster, they set up ticket sales to start, and they have a time where ticket sales end. And these are the type of things we need to do if we want to complete our project in a timely manner, and I believe the Gantt chart allows us to do so.
Alright, so let's talk for a minute about the budget of this project. For the budget of this project, it after looking into it, looking into the future, looking into the amount of money that we've had to invest into the research for this project, we have actually come to the conclusion that this project does not require a budget. Due to LSU, the Society of Petroleum Engineers, and the Department of Natural Resources in North Dakota, we were able to find all the data that we needed for this project and look at all the research documents and everything without investing any money into the project. So as of now, we have not been required to form a budget for this project. We do not plan on investing any money into this project because we will be able to produce the results that we need without investment. So as of now, we do not have a budget, and we shouldn't need one for this project.
Data management is a major part of any project in the oil and gas industry. Many oil and gas companies have developed SCADA programs to monitor and record data for the company. Companies also pay for computer programs that allow them to monitor and forecast production or economic data. For the purpose of this project, we will ideally be looking at production histories of wells and trying to determine if they would be a good candidate for recompletions. Currently, we have access to monthly production reports from the Alger Field from North Dakota Department of Natural Resources website. Using this data, we will be able to make rudimentary production forecasts using Excel. This will help us select candidate wells for recompletions. To improve our data, it would be beneficial if we had access to weekly or daily production reports. Shown on the slides is our data management plan, which as you can see has 4 major steps: data types, quality assurance, data access, and storage and backup. Data types explains the different types of data that we will encounter in our project. Quality assurance explains where we will pull our data from and how we know it's accurate. Data access explains where we will get our data from and who we restrict it to. And storage explains how we intend to save our data.
So to conclude this presentation, we really just want to stress that the Bakken field of North Dakota is a very valuable asset to many producers who are reproducing the field. And this is because as the industry starts to make a turn for the better, especially recently, oil prices begin to rise. And as they rise, companies begin to reinvest in the field. Now, this rise in price really just makes companies think we can make profit off of this. We know that refracturing the formation costs less than it does to inject a whole ton of chemicals in there that we might have to inject so much that it won't even be much of a benefit to drill. Well, if we refracture the formation, we can not only save a lot of money, but also earn a lot of money. So it's a huge return on investment for companies, especially small companies, really, that need some money in order to operate properly. And, as this point says, the options that our companies have to revitalize the field are refracturing, enhancing completions to improve the overall recovery of the well. So if we can improve the overall recovery of the well, save companies a lot of money, and help them earn a lot of money, I think this is really the way to go, especially in the Bakken Formation where it's so hard to drill to begin with. So we just want to thank everyone who watched this video, and here's our works cited, and I hope you have a fantastic day.